Hello, friends. Have you ever think about being afraid for something? Do you realize that that is possible? At the same time, do you realize that you can control that? If you are a child of God and we trust the Christ within us, we can have, or better to say, we have the tool to address our feelings of fear. I'm going to tell you a story. Recently, I went to the process for admission to the ministerial school. And that was something that I really wanted. That was something that I was waiting for. That was something that I say, wow, look at the level that I am now. I am in the process going through my journey, growing spiritually, using the tools that I have learned in Unity. But I'm going to be honest to all of you, I was afraid of that process. But the most important part was that I recognized that I have learned to use a lot of tools that can help me to cope with fear. For example, in Unity, we have the 12 power, and those are things that we have within us. Those are powers that we have within us that we can use when we are fear, so for example, the power of wisdom, the power of love. So if I don't love myself, how I can be able to love others? So it is important to be loving to myself first. But I'm going to tell you about the process because this is what I want you to this is what I want to share with you. We have to remember that we are spiritual beings living a personal experience, a human experience, and fear can come to us. What is important is what we're going to be doing with that fear that I am feeling. So, I want to share with you how I addressed the situation and how I knew that I was fearful, even that I was saying, I am okay, all is well, I am happy because this is something that I was expecting. But seeing the reality of the process, that I have to take a written test, that I have to go to 3 interviews with different ministers, my ego came in the middle of it. And I allow myself to be so worried, even spending more time thinking how I'm going to be performing, how they're going to be judging me. So, and then at the end, when I went through the whole process, I realized so the divinity in me is the divinity in others. This is part of our principle. So we are naturally good. And because we're good, we have God's essence within us. So God's essence is within me. And I'm sure that the people that I'm going to be dealing with, they can see the divinity within me. And they are also divine. So they also want me to succeed. So why I have to be afraid? Well, just because I am human. And the gift of that was that I was able to understand my fear and take care of that. I say, I don't need to be afraid because I am just responding to a call. So I am in the ministerial school because God have called me to be at service. So if God put me in this situation, it's because God's gonna provide in me the tool for me to be successful. And number one, I recognize the presence of God wherever I go. I recognize the divinity within me. I know that God is present everywhere. So wherever I go, God is. And God lives within me. So the other thing that I remember was that the principle number 3. So we use in unity prayer. So to prayer, we get that connection and with God. And then we can transform the thought held in mind. Because remember, the mind is important to recognize that whatever we held in our mind, that is what we're going to be attracting to be manifested. So remember, it is important to observe and watch what is that we are holding in our mind. Okay, and that way we can let go and we can change and shift to the higher level of consciousness and go to the Christ consciousness. So I did not have any reason to be afraid because I am responding to the call of God. God called me to be at service. And that is what I want to talk to you. And then, so it is important to recognize our feelings and take care of that. And the part more important that I gained through the whole process is that it is important for me to take care of myself. Self care as a minister, as a student, is important because we need to create balance in terms of our work, rest, and taking care spiritually also because we have to take care of that. So having a balance spiritually, eating well, taking care. So, and I was forgetting that during that process. So I was just paying attention to read, and thinking how I'm going to be performing. And I realized that that is not necessary because we know that all is well when we rely in the truth. We live the truth that we know. And the truth is that through thinking, putting in action what I have learned, and recognizing the presence of God, I am living the truth that I know. It's not enough to know, but I need to apply what I have learned. And then I can shift and have my level of my thinking process at a higher level in order to bring the message of the truth that I know through that, I'm living the truth that I know. So, in general, my message is yes, we can be afraid because we are human. But yes, it is important to acknowledge the feelings that we are experiencing, and based on that, we move and adjust what is necessary to adjust. And we have to remember we can use the tools that we already know: prayer, meditation, going communion with God, which is prayer and meditation, using affirmation, letting go, error thinking, or things that are not in alignment with God principle. This is what I have to say. So remember that we are human beings living. We are no, sorry. Remember, we are spiritual beings living a human experience, and that always gonna be present in our life. It's gonna be always present in our life. And we have to remember what Colossians says, Colossians 1:17, that say, He is before all things, and in Him all things hold together. So we know that God is everywhere present. God bless you. Namaste.